have become huge. No, just sucking it in for a second. 6 a.m. or something. 6:30 in the morning. Halfway through taking my t-shirt off, and I thought I was going to become a Hulk. I'm not. I'm just a fat ass who's just trying to have some definition. Actually, I was playing with my jowls in the mirror. You know what jowls are? Jowls are where your cheek fat hangs noticeably beyond your chin curvature. So this should just continue smoothly all the way up, but instead your fat hangs like... Who's that weird dog with the slopper chops in those Hanna-Barbera cartoons? And he's, you know, somebody's just running over the horizon to get away from this dog who's just got droop. Is it Droopy? Is that his name? Droopy?
You know what? I'm happy.
This hairpiece is tattering around the edges. This is when I know I don't want to wear it anymore. And I know I can't get glue out of it. And these are all hairpieces. I haven't got any fresh hairpieces that I didn't fuck up with tape, right? These are all pre-taped and full size and will sit down over the flap. Down over past the shave point, right? This shave point. If you remember, this piece is designed to fit. I mean, it's not designed to fit. It was cut to fit several months ago rendition of a shave zone that I had thought might be all right. And I decided, yeah, I'll just shave my head to that shape. And I'm paranoid with this area. First of all, where you would part your hair naturally to brush it if you had brushable straight hair, which I realized this is not, even though it's much straighter than my natural curls. I don't want the part for the actual where all the glue is, and I get people to see how the sausage is made every time I'm lying on my side, or, if I'm sit my head in a pillow. I don't want the split to be there, and you're just looking in with a clear division of side of head and then glue line and a fake plastic line here meets. I'd rather the part sort of be inside the hairpiece. On the back of the head, it's just a different adventure. It just keeps messing up. The gift that keeps taking. It's this hairpiece is one I had cut myself, right? I cut the hairs. Whereas I get 6 of these new ones were cut by the factory, and I found that they do a good enough job at the factory. It's neat, right? And the thing is, they're probably longer. That's why I had that whole overhang problem for a long time. I've got an overhang problem here right now. After I've had a shower and I make all this nice and in position and so on, you'll think, wow, what are you complaining about? That's great. But the front hairline has never been great because there's an old tattered hairpiece. It was never able to be perfectly clean along there. And even now, thinking about taking it off and knowing that a lot of the hairs on the back have been stuck together along the edges, just from the tiniest little blob when you're putting glue around onto the hairpiece. That exacerbates over time as the heat of your head and the squishiness of the pillow and everything else in your life makes it worse. It gets worse. So it feels just awful. But I've got to say, having worn this, you know how I smothered this one with glue and the previous ones had tape with bubbles in it, and there were bubbles. My God, it's such a relief not to have bubbles. I love it being fully stuck down at all places. It's so much better. It's like wearing a seatbelt when you got the hairpiece, right? You want a seatbelt. It's like you want the confidence to know that you're walking around and some weird thing isn't happening at the back. With this, I know there's a weird shit going on. with all of them I know, because of that betootlement problem, which is what we have to get those companies to fucking, maybe the solution is to tie knots into poly. We know lace is already tied in, but the complication around the front hairline is hard enough to deal with, let alone imagine having to deal with lace with all the glue in it all around the back and sides as well. That would mean you'd have to have proper shave zone maintenance done more often than you would change a hairpiece to prevent the stubble coming through. I mean, I would, because as you know, I'm not bald in 90% of this area here. And I've got to shave it off just so that the hairpiece works, because I'm thinning and I'm bald here. But I've decided to go fucking full halo. I keep thinking his name is Commander-in-Chief. There's the guy from Halo, the main lead protagonist. Something chief, isn't it? Alright, I'm going to I'll just take it off and try to stick down one of these. This one definitely doesn't fit. It's too short, it's just round, and I just used it as a seal to protect this from touching other things. I can tell this is dirtier than new. It's gross. I really don't want to make a video where I'm dunking them in hot water and getting this. I hate taking the tape off, but I don't have any money at the moment. I'm really poor, so I can't buy any more. I've got to deal with this. Do I keep cutting down, or do I put a big one over and have the flops and just make sure it's always styled? When you do have the umbrella, right, the full uncut topper straight out of the box, maximum 8x10 sizing. When you do that, that's so stable. See, I've got glue. That's tape though. Ooh. Don't do what I've done. That's ruined. That's ruined. There's a big difference between 1 day old tape and used tape. I can't even place that either side down on my bench, otherwise I'll be cleaning it for ages. I just want to throw that out. I want to throw this out. I want to throw this out. I want to throw it all out. Oh, just touching it. I'm getting like long melted cheese gooiness all over my fingers. That was not a hair, that was a strand of mozzarella. Look at it. This is what I'm talking about. It's torn to shit. I have no good hair pieces left. Storing them like this, don't do it. It seems, the one underneath it, look, now I've got to pull out all those hairs out. This one is a fresh tapage. Fresh tapage. Freshly taped. Look, this one, no hairs stuck to it. The new one, shiny. This one's yellowish, that one's shinier. When people misinterpret things and they have no wisdom, like they have no life experience, like how can that be your conclusion? This is what I'm thinking about them, right? How can that be your conclusion? Is the world like two-dimensional cartoon where this plus this equals this and there are no other interactions? It was just as simple as a fucking, like, you need to have lived through it to be able to understand the conversation. It's a prerequisite. If you've been babied all the way through, like if you went from living in a house all the way through to, okay, bye mom, bye dad, I'm going off to college, right? And you got this big square hat, like throw it up in the air, yay. So there was like, you had your gap year, traveling other countries, going, wow, there are cool things to see, and you go back to a comfortable hotel room every night. Then from there you go to college, you get married, it all just pans out exactly like in a movie, right? I don't see any real way for you to get wisdom having carbon copied your life from other people. No, it's not like I'm doing something original and breaking free and living in a fucking hammock in a jungle. I'm living in an apartment. But then many times it happened. So it doesn't matter. Even if you didn't live certain things, like I've never been a female, like not in this lifetime. Well, actually as a baby I was a little fetus female and then as a cock. I think that's how it works. So, the truth is, I am not wise in the experiences of being a woman at all. In fact, if it was all women and just me, I'd be the least qualified to describe what it's like. Okay? But when I listen to them go, yap, 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 complaint, we're not treated fairly, and it's all just women with extreme power telling me that. Like, okay, stop attacking me, please, I'm sorry for being a man, sorry. I think they just haven't, that's power abuse. That is severe power. Like, my sister's one of them. No context, just man is the enemy. This is on securely. It feels secure. It is good. The hairs are sticking together back here because they protrude past the shave zone, right? This bit was never cut properly. Like it was all experimental, and it still is. I'm starting to look like Simon Cowell. I wouldn't want it to go any shorter, otherwise I'm gonna get that whole square fucking. I can't. I want it to curve with my head, but hairpieces just don't behave that way. The hairs are stitched in such a way they stick out, right? If I remove this, it's going to be a fucking mess underneath, but it would have been a mess anyway if it was tape underneath. Sometimes you just think, wouldn't it be better and easier just to wear a hat if you're worried about being seen bald? Yeah, it would be. It would be a lot easier. That's why sometimes you just go, fuck, I'm just going to shave my head. And then you remember what you look like. It's like, why don't I just leave the hairpiece on? It wouldn't have been that hard. I mean, just occasionally taking it off, cleaning it and putting it back on. Surely it's not that hard. Well, look at my bathroom. This is how I live now. From something that's attached to the ceiling. It's not that stable actually. There's still a bit of, well, it is better. I don't know why it jiggles that much, but it's still pretty stable. I'm talking about this now, you understand? I'm making a reference to a previous video that I made that I may not have released, so therefore you don't have the wisdom, life experience to understand what the fuck I'm talking about. I rebuilt this, right? I rebuilt this, so it's going to be straight out of a little tiny peg thing now because I didn't like the way it was wobbling around too much. But like I told you earlier, I think I need a spacer. Give myself a gap up there. But that's not really well enough. Anyway, it's much better. It's more stable now. They don't sell connectors from spigot stud to 1/4 inch or 5/8 of an inch screws for camera gear that are longer than that. And I've looked fucking everywhere, and you've got to trick them into saying I need a camera flash holder or some shit. It's a fucking hundreds of hours of figuring out the search terms you need in order to find what the fuck you're looking for. I need to get into that Google image thing where you circle, or you take a photo of something on just the edge, and you go, this plus this equals a monkey chicken. That's what we need, a monkey chicken. No, that doesn't exist. Why would anyone need that? When you want to attach things to things, just stop asking us fucking questions about why a screw exists with a fucking weird curved right angle head. How would that even work? Just give it to me. Conclusion. Can I be bothered taking this off right now? Am I going to put on a bigger one next time? Finally. That took days to dry. It's not summer anymore. But it's still hot-ish. Right now in this room, it is 21.6 degrees. Perfect. 22 degrees is, I think, the universal temperature of most people are happy. If you're hot and you walk into 22, I don't think the heat would leave you very quickly though. It wouldn't be a cool, satisfying breeze. You'd need to go colder to get the heat off. But once you want to be stable, right, 22 is not bad. God, I don't know what 22 is. It's about 73. I don't know. Alexa, what's 22 degrees in Fahrenheit?
22 degrees Celsius is 71.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm surprised you use points, like decimal points. Aren't you using fractions all the time, like with spanner sizes and shit? I don't like this hairpiece anymore. It's losing its stick, and I don't like how precarious it feels like it's being able to be seen by people. It has to be perfect, and it can't be perfect, right? It can't be perfect. So, look, I would part my hair there, right? And therefore it can't be there. Do you understand why I'm saying that? I don't want this ever to be seen. I don't want glue and shit to be seen. I would rather the hairpiece continue down to here, right? And then put a part here. You understand what I'm... Also, I just want it to be neat. Very neat, like a fucking robot, just neat. Just stay. See all this straggly shit. But I think most people, even if they've got a full head of hair, get annoyed with hair billowing around in their eyes and everything. So it's not just this. And now, my hair now, at whatever the length this is, I'd say it's about 1 inch all over. I'd say that's it. That's a good length. I need to make my hairpiece accommodate this now. Really. Because when it gets longer, it's buffing out, right? 2 inches. I said I was waiting for it to grow back and everything. That's given me enough. I mean, that's the perfect, comfortable length. I can dye that. It's not sticking out because it's so short, because it's stubble. It's beyond stubble now. Anything longer than this and it just starts pubing out in curls and shit. And when it's grey, it becomes wiry, okay? So 1 inch all over is good. And then the rest, this hairpiece length, sorry, I'm meaning this, but I'm playing this at the same time. This hairpiece length. These have all been pre-cut to 2.5 inches at the front and 2 inches on the side, which just give me a big flop when it meets a 1 inch surface. And I've spoken many times about not trusting anything that's shorter than 1.5 inches with hairpieces because it just sticks straight out. But because these hairpieces round off as they come to the back, they're water falling, and so these hairs, maybe they can be cut to 1 inch. Maybe those ones, the ones that are facing down on the edge here, if you cut it to 1 inch here or less, you're gonna have the doormat effect. It'd just be the worst possible softness. There'd be no softness, it'd just be awful. Okay, let's see how hard it is to take this off. I'm quite hot, So this is how much glue I put on. From front to back, just 100% glue. I told you it was a secure fit. I feel like I'm being picked up by the brain. It's quite a nice, rare feeling. They should pay people for this kind of massage. Alright, I'm gonna go to sleep now. Let's see. Look how much it's grown back already underneath. Interestingly, I find that more cleanable than that. One's tape. And one's glue. Cleaning off glue or cleaning off tape, which do you think is harder? My experience is this is a million times harder than this. They're both shit jobs though, and I don't want to deal with it. And if I had enough money, it would just be like, right, next, check it in the bin. With the front partials, I was kind of doing that, up to a large degree. I was like, next. Oh, can we make that less squirt? That's coming out in a... No, it's just on or off. Fuck, Walker tape, I knew they couldn't do something right. If I spray this, it'll be like... right across the room. That's a lot coming out at once. There was no way to just put a dissipant spray. Well, it's always nice to get the first step out of the way and take the hairpiece off your head. I didn't even think I would have the energy to do that today. Like, I don't have the energy any day though. My energy levels are just dropping all the time and my brain is just frying like inside my skull. The only reason I'm awake is because I got up to go to the toilet in the middle of the night. And here we are. It's now 7:11. As I sit here, just fucking cleaning the comb with my fingers all covered in glue, trying to get this glue off my entire head for the 10 millionth time, I think. Alright, enough's enough. This is bullshit. I'd rather be bald than this. This is fucking nonsense. I was just considering it. The one thing that would make all of this okay would be to do it the rich person way and don't get your hands dirty. Just, I've done my time. Now I'm gonna be a fucking officer now. I'm gonna tell other people what to do. Oh, you give good head. Thank you, sir. It's very kind of you to mention that, sir. Would you like a bit of extra polish on your shoes, sir? Oh yeah, more on the tip. I just don't want to sit here and be doing this forever, right? Ever again, really. I got that mandible splint, it cost $2,500, fucking hell, to correct my snoring, but it doesn't fix anything. In fact, it'd probably make my jaw have a, you know, I'd rather snore than wear that. I'd rather die of choking in my sleep, having sleep apnea, than wear a CPAP machine or a mandible splint. Apparently losing weight can take away the neck fat and prevent a bit of suffocation or whatever. Apparently the whole cause of it, waking up and choking and everything, is because your tongue's too big for your mouth. There's not enough room in there. I said, fucking give me a tongue operation. It would change my voice and stop me from being able to eat properly and swallow and everything else. Shit, I don't want a tongue operation. Yeah, a lot of you are thinking, you're gonna cut your fucking tongue out of your fucking face, you dirty fucking piece of shit. this is just sitting here like fucking piles of tissues around me. Oh wait, they were from earlier. Probably shouldn't mention those. It's just greasy, disgusting shit. And I don't want to ever have to deal with it again. The front partials seem like a minor annoyance compared to coming around the back of my head and needing equipment mounted on the ceiling, which I'm never going to have if I travel. It traps me in this house to have that system. If you're thinning rather than balding, most people would say that's the time you switch over and start using a hairpiece so nobody ever knows. But I don't know anyone anymore. I'm so fucking ostracized and alone. So I don't think it matters if I'm bald or not, except for the fact that there are certain people I see around my apartment building and so on, I guess, who would suddenly go, you're fucking bald. Wait, now you got a full head of hair again. Okay, I guess you're wearing a hairpiece. I don't want that to happen. I never want that to happen. And I don't want to have to wear a hat every time I leave the house, just in case I ever want to go back to a hairpiece, right? You just got to make the decision. You come out of the closet as a balding or not. Look, I think if you're pale and fat, don't be bald. If you're strong and muscly and tanned, fucking shave it, man. I don't know. It's like The Rock's doing all right, you know. Vin Diesel. You know, all these other guys. Who's that action hero? I just saw him in a movie a couple of nights ago. Jason Statham. He's passable. He's got a tan, right? Like if his hand was next to mine, it would be like playing a game of chess. You'd know which piece to pick up. What I'm saying is, like, even though he's white, I'm whiter. You know what I mean? He gets out and about. He's in fucking yachts. He's in Cannes Film Festival. But you know, the weird thing for him is he wouldn't be able to relax about his hair either. You know why? Because every fucking day he's got to shave it. That's not relaxing. Me complaining about this is like, why do I have to keep wiping my asshole? Do I have to keep doing it forever? I'm just exhausted with all of this. Just shave it, bro. There is no workaround for, you know, cleaning your ass after you take a shit. Unless you just want to walk around stinking like shit. So you have to do certain things, right? If you're alive, you have to do it. If you're dead, you don't really have to, I don't think. I don't know, but it makes sense. Option A, option B. That's a bit of a rewrite of Shakespeare, isn't it? Imagine if Hamlet came on stage and went, option A, option B. And everyone's like, yeah, we know what he's talking about. None of this pencil rubbish. To be or not to be, that is the pencil. Oh yeah, I was going to watch the news, so I have some involvement in life. Anyway, thanks for keeping me company during my... I can't safely just mist this over my head. Because it's just got a super... I would spray it onto the curtains, they'd be wrecked. It's too powerful. It's not that I don't want to have power, but the dispersion system on the spray head is just basically off or on, I think. It needs to be rounded and you need to be able to adjust the mist level. It doesn't let you do that. And I'm wary because Walker tape is so untrustworthy in packaging to leave it just sitting on its side on any surface. Even though I'm on a bed right now, it would ruin my bed. I've got to, after taking this off and mostly cleaning, just doing this while watching television. This is the way to do it. Sorry, the Oscars are on. I've got to watch this. Okay, massive disconnect between me and the Oscars. I mean, I do know some of the characters. I mean, the fact that Gene Hackman, James Earl Jones have died, didn't even know. I'm so out of the loop. This is fucked. I don't even know if there are any major lifetime 80s actors that are still around. And I mean, it's not I don't know. I'm not part of it. I'm not part of it. And it's bad. And I look around at this filth that I live in, this bed nest thing that I sit on. I'm doing bits at a time with my computer room to try and modify it so I can get a couple of productions made. But I never make them. It's just, I fucking just procrastinate, and it's just the daunting waiting of my parents and family. And I've lost my mind. I've just lost my mind. Summer's over, thank God. It's now March the 4th. So I miss summer. Wasn't at the beach topless with girls all around me and all sort of stuff. I'm 47. I'm turning 48 this year. Whatever I was supposed to have done in life, I should have done it by now. Doesn't mean I can't be an actor, but I certainly, I don't think I can do it in Melbourne. My mum's still on leukemia, like on chemotherapy. She's in remission, and I'm estranged from her. I don't speak to her at all anymore, so I'm just alone. It's just, everything's changed. And I don't have money. If I had money, if I had $10,000, I'd spend $5,000 right now just fucking piling up hair pieces that were clean and cut for me. I'd send them a proper template. I'd figure out what that was and go, boom, all right, here, exactly this. But then you can't trust that the companies, or that I'm going to make the shave zone exact. And if you don't make the shave zone exact and you've got a hairpiece, I guess you could always rely on overhang from the hairs themselves. But I want to conform the hairs on the edges. I really do want to go sub 1.5 inches down around these edges here, so it can come in, right? I'd love to have a hairpiece where, you know, it still looked like normal real hair when it was short. Because once I start going out longer than this on the sides, right, we talk about horns and stuff, right, then we're starting to get into the buffiness area, and it's just awful. I mean, this is the length I should try to accommodate. 1 inch, whatever this is, half to 1 inch. I'm not going to measure, I'm just telling you it looks like that, right? It just emerges a little bit from my fingertips when I grab it, that long. So that's something I can manage on my own without having to go to a hairdresser. I can just take clippers, set it to 1 inch, and that's doable, okay? Especially with the vacuum clippers, that's just super easy. Making the shave zone every time, that's hard. But I think I discovered that when I use a hand razor, and we talked about the effort that somebody like Jason Statham has to go to every day, right, to shave his head or trim it down. He probably uses clippers, I don't know. Well, he probably has people, he's rich. I'm sure he knows how to do it himself. He's not the sort of person who'd sit, you know, fucking just eating donuts in a chair all day. I want to be able to stand, if I went to play golf, for example, if I had a friend who I could play golf with, for example, somewhere out there, if the wind was blowing at me from any direction, I wouldn't want to worry about the hairpiece. But having just gone through the trouble of getting all that glue off my head, it's the same thing though when there's tape. But a lot of those problems are in the hairs themselves here, because I still haven't got a hairpiece that's exactly fitting in the shave zone still, because I'm still figuring it out. Like, do I want to go lower or less, or just stick with front partial and just let that be thinning? I am taking finasteride, so maybe I can just lean on that. All right, just take finasteride every day, keep paying for that. I'll be saving money on hair pieces because I'll be able to get 3. But then if I don't take the front portion, if I take the sides again, then the weird brushing, and then I've got that lump here. But then at least I can see it all in a front-facing mirror, and I can just get rid of all the other back of the head, top of the head stuff. Much easier to apply a little bit of glue to a front partial, and then much less wastage of money when I go, all right, I can't be bothered cleaning the glue out of this hair. So I'm just going to chuck it. Because my hair is all generally quite short right now, it would only take a couple of months 2 months, that's a long time, fuck. Before, no, it would take longer. It would take it always takes 3 months. That's a fair chunk of your life, right? 3 months. If you've got 1 year to live, 3 months is a quarter of your life. It's too long. I need to be able to accommodate short. I don't want to have to worry about it. And front partials don't meet anywhere. If with a full hairpiece, boom, you just smack it on your head, it all fits instantly, right? Straight out of the box, the template size they give you is full coverage. The one that I've got in there is pre-taped. I wouldn't stick it on right now because I've still got residue from this, but with a bit of soap and water on my head, I might just go ahead and just take one of those pre-taped pieces and put it on my head. At the same time I do that, I need to make backup because I've got one good hairpiece, the one that I just pulled all those hairs out of. The rest are all old tape. You can't put tape on tape. You can put glue on tape, but then you get that whole glue mess that I just showed you. I'm exhausted. I only got up to take a piss, but I'm waiting on a couple of deliveries today, which should massively increase my, improve my desk setup for the production stuff I'm doing. I'm definitely not going to clean any glue or tape off hair pieces today, I think. And I am going to leave the house. I've got to go and take some Amazon returns back to a pickup, Hustle Point pickup thing so I can get a refund. And do some more filming for my other channels. Just shave it, bro. Starting to sound like a pretty bloody good option now. Really? I just don't want to worry about it anymore. If you're in shape and you dress well. I mean, there are plenty of dudes who are not tanned, who are just pale. But like I say, it's not... Being fat in general is not a good look, right? But being fat and bald... But see, it's better to be fat and bald than fat and balding. When I say that, I mean comb-overs and you know, wispy shit where you're trying to, like, cover, like Julius Caesar. Like, I mean, you just... If you take off your hairpiece and reveal to the world that and you shave it off, and you reveal to the world that you don't wear a hairpiece, you can't go back without everyone knowing. Having to live with this secret with people all the time is... I mean, it's just part of my life, but, you know, somebody who wears prosthetic stuff, whatever. I bet you've probably met somebody and you didn't know they had no leg. They have one leg and they've been walking around on a prosthetic leg the whole time. And if they ever lifted their pants, you'd see it. It's like, oh my God, I did not know that all this time. It would change the way you think about them. Not make you like respect them less. You'd probably respect them more for being such a champion. But that doesn't work that way with vanity-related prosthetics. Having an extra thing on your stump is enabling you to walk, right? There are no real benefits of having a full head of hair over not having a full head of hair, except people do treat you better when you are better looking. That's no doubt in anybody's mind that's the case. Although people often resent people who are good looking too. So vanity comes at a price a little bit. I'm just looking at Israeli parliament brawl. Let's see some of this stuff. Just contemplating this channel, StickOnHair channel. I mean, quick tips how to. What's the solution for this, right? I mean, that's what most people are looking for when they go to find information on YouTube. But this is important, I think, to have somebody psychologically going through what they feel. And I know it's not specific to all of you when I talk about my own private life and stuff, but over hundreds of hours of talking, it just slips into the conversation because it defines me. the stuff that would apply to you if you are bald or balding and you're wanting to wear a hairpiece and cover it up, or you're embarrassed, or you want to feel better about yourself, or you want people to treat you better, it all applies to you. So to see somebody else suffering through things you may also be feeling, hopefully is of some use for you, which is why I don't completely just stop saying all this personal stuff, because, you know, feelings and ponderings about, well, okay, for example, if you were to go, all right, how do I wear hair? Where do I stick it? Tell me how to shave the zone out. How do you see the back of your own head? No, fuck. I have made a few of these videos where I've tried to keep them 60 seconds or less for you. Not for you, for the ADHD people. But I don't know. I feel like I would want somebody to keep me company throughout this entire process, and I wouldn't want them just to lie and say, "Oh, it's easy, just as simple as 1, 2, and 3," right? I'd want them to tell me the truth. Now, over the years, I've often considered shaving my head, and I have shaved my head, and it's never worked out well. It's never in my best interests, and I always regret it, always. The ease of having a shaved head. Just being free, feeling the wind, having a shower, the feeling of pitter-patter raindrops on your actual scalp, the ability to feel your skin with your fingertips on your head and everything. It's nice. And you would just get used to it, and you would not have to worry about your hairstyle. I mean, why even look in the mirror ever again, except to check that you haven't got food on your face or whatever? It's just no need. You just got to have a shower. That's it. Be a simple life of not vanity. You wouldn't even look in the mirror, would you? I mean, you might, just to make sure your clothes are fitting properly, right? When you're wearing a nice suit or something. I don't know. Is hair fun? No. Just looking at yourself and redesigning your appearance and everything fun. I guess there's a little bit of fun in it, not really. I mean, yeah, it can be. Like, look at the clothing, look at women's fashion and stuff. They seem to enjoy it more than men do. But that could just be a cultural thing. I don't think it is just cultural, though. I think instinctively, they're the peacocks of the ape world more than men are. Like, if we just see what they're drawn to naturally as children and everything. Like, I don't know. I think they're copying older versions of themselves. If men were the ones who grew up with their idols and their peers and everybody and everything, looking in the mirror and, opening a little thing and deciding which mold to stick on their face and which big powdered wig they need to wear today, potentially we'd all grow up that way, and it would just shift, and then women would just be like, yeah, whatever, who cares what we look like? It's so opposite land, but it's I'm sure there have been times in the past when that's happened, but I think maybe it is a natural phenomenon that female humans are the ones who know that they're attractive and men are just fucking ugly, so it doesn't really matter what we look like. But the slightest nuance, 1 millimeter off, will make or break your day when it comes to how you are treated. When I look really good, sometimes I'm not aware, right? It's just my hair's fallen into a right position, or my clothing looks right, or I'm walking with purpose because I'm on a mission. I'm concentrating on, okay, how do I get this shit done? That's when other people find me attractive or something, maybe, right? And a girl will tuck her hair behind her ear at me. I think you know what that means. Maybe she's just got hair in her face and wants to tuck it behind her ear. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I can just kind of see more eye contact and flirting. I think I can detect sometimes flirting when I look good. Not when I don't look good. Never when I don't look good. And I don't know how this would matter at all when you're married and then your life's over. But I don't know anything about married people. It's just all another world. Having children, being married, it's another world. But I'm 47. I think most people have done that already by my age, in my culture. But I don't know. I wish I had friends I could have grown old with, but I just don't know anyone. I occasionally see people from different age groups, and because I was, you know, a street performer for years, so I met a whole bunch of homeless type people over the years, those sort of people who live alternative lives, and of course musicians, because they're awake at night as well. Mostly international people who've moved on. It's come and go, like leaves in the breeze. I could re-establish contact with old friends and stuff, but I don't even know if they're fully available anymore. They've probably got jobs and children and, I don't know, 47, planning for retirement. I don't know. No idea. Don't know what those people are up to. Or what other people my age do. I mean, I look at the people presenting the news. Some of them are younger than me. People winning Academy Awards. Some of them are younger than me. But there've always been people younger than me. From the time I was born, there's already somebody younger, right? So don't worry about that. Just worry about, like, when you watch Star Trek, right? Oh, you think about the central characters. Everybody seems to have their own place and be important in what their individual interest is, like Data, right? Captain Picard. I'm thinking about Next Generation mostly. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. He's the main man, right? Even though he's much old, he's older. He's probably younger in the first episodes than what I am now, though. Could I be Picard? Should model off that. Then I wouldn't have a problem with baldness at all. They could serve level one. Shakespearean actor. Looking like this, walking around like this, out of the question, obviously. Shaving it all off, I've done it before, I don't want to do that. So, Occam's razor, I'm going to put a hairpiece on today. I'll have a shower, and then I'll put on that clean one, and then I need backup though. I don't have any backup. I have that one I took off my head, and do I increase my shave zone? Do I increase my shave zone down here too, so I can really bring it down? I spoke to you before about that whole line. I don't want the part line to be up here, because then people see all the glue and mess there. I'd rather it went down, but I don't want the flaps of plastic. There was a bit of a flap all the way around the back where I hadn't shaved down low enough because the hairpiece was longer than my shave zone. So there was flappage at the back. Makes me think shave down lower, but then I've got to keep doing the mirror stuff. God, I wish somebody else would help me. Seriously, I wish somebody would come and just do it for me. Show me what to do it for me, make it good, and make it easy. And just give me a whole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like give me 6 months supply of hair pieces, or give me just some fucking money. I'll go and buy them. Or no, actually, I'd prefer you did it. Just you do it too. You do that. You go and pre-glue it all for me. Imagine if that was a service provided by the hair companies. They pre-glue it for you and give it to you in a folder system where it's an easy peel system, and then it's just placed. That's a step up from the first 2 steps, isn't it? Cutting the template size and giving it a haircut. Step 3, pre-glue it. So it's ready, just ready out of the box, pre-glued. There is something called glue spray. If you put, that would be the fastest. If you had the conditions of an area where you could spray glue, it didn't matter. Obviously you don't want any spray to go in the hair at all. You don't even want the residual fallout from the spray to just drift down and land on the hairs either. So you would need to totally isolate the back of the hairpiece all the way to the edges. Have you ever painted a car with spray or anything? You basically tape off an area. You get tape and you tape it off, right? Painting tape, right? Then you can just paint and it goes onto the edge of the tape, but it doesn't matter. The perimeter of the hairpiece immediately touches hairs. They're important hairs too, because especially at the front hairline, but all around, it's important. Otherwise they'll clump together, it'll just be awful for the whole experience. It won't be just a nice experience. So if you, hairspray, I mean, glue spray, if you could tape off the edges and just make sure that it goes all the way to the edge, but it doesn't go on the hairs, this could be achievable by putting the hairpiece, I'm just inventing now, putting the hairpiece over the mannequin. I do have glue spray for gluing material together for my puppets. It's not made for hair, but is it worth a try? Or is it just poisonous and like just going to cause me harm? And can it be wiped off afterwards? And is it strong enough? How would you feel about a glue spray? And then if you added a specific chemical, a solvent, something similar to this, and it just wiped off, right? Because you're never going to let this stuff go near your hairpiece connection, your bonding area, are you? So if there's one solvent that just made the glue just go away and just wiped it off easily, thickness chunks of glue varying around the head is a factor in hold. Tape has a specific thickness of glue, which is what I love about tape. It's one thickness of glue all the way across, and it doesn't become too mozzarella-y like direct adhesive does. Hard bond adhesive just cracks off. You can't even remove that shit from the hairpiece ever. It's just one use, and then it's hardened. You can hear it, and it crackles and breaks bits and flicks. Cyanide, acetone, or what do you call it? I can't remember what it's called. Super glue, right? I've tried it. It is shit. And the hard bond stuff from Walker Tape as well is shit. What was it called? Silicone glue, wasn't it? I can't remember. I've got a little bit left, but it's just rubbish. It's super hard. It just doesn't work. But it's resistant to heat. But you push it down once, and if it lifts, there's no putting it back down. And if you sweat, which skin does, it's gone. It's over. It just has no. It's a hard bond. There's no emergency. Just push it back down when nobody's looking, and it's still got stick to it all the time. But it's clean. It's clean because there's no mozzarella effect. Once it dries, that's it. Maybe there's some middle ground. Maybe I should go back to looking at how thick that can be spread. But my first idea at the moment is glue spray. And am I willing to experiment with putting dangerous glue chemicals on my skin? Fuck yeah. Who gives a fuck? If I'm suicidal anyway, what does it matter if my head falls off? But should I be recommending dangerous chemicals for you? I mean, there are certain chemicals you're just not supposed to touch, and it probably has warnings, do not inhale, right? You wouldn't want to inhale glue spray. I'm sure that's bad for your lungs. But if you wore a mask while you did while it's taped off, right? Then wait, I don't know, probably 1 minute, take the tape off. It's only stuck to hair, so it'll easily come off, right? When I talk about tape, I mean, painter's tape with minimal stick, right? But it's enough to fence off the zone while you're spraying. It's a pity I don't have a hairpiece that's ready to be sprayed right now. I could add a bit to one of the quadrants, those bubbles where the tape goes. So initially I had this thing in the ceiling, but I wanted to make something that was more removable for you. So I removed this from the ceiling. It was more stable, right? Because it's just locked on a perpendicular angle straight down from the ceiling to a good height. Then I moved on to this thing. So it would be just removable from a ceiling. And then I moved to what I've got now, right, which is just a tiny little connector. Just goes from spigot stud to 1/4 inch And I thought maybe I could add this extender, which is 1/4 inch to 5/8, I think. But then I've got more wonky bits. It would give me a bit of extension room, but insignificant. If I look at that in comparison, that's going to be a very small, fiddly little piece compared to what's going on up there right now. It's not a problem. By the way, I found I do actually have a couple, or 3 clean hair pieces. I think I cut them myself, and this one's not been cut at all. And all the ones that were pre-cut from the factory with haircuts are all got tape and stuff all over them. This one has got clean tape. I just removed the hairs off it. So I might slap that on my head and just endure those edges. But I've minimized bubblage on this one by actually creating smaller bubble zones, which is better than these gigantic these are not too bad. Not too bad either. These ones are too big, right? 2 lines across, that's not enough. You want 3 if you can do that. Especially with a full size one. I'll see if I can find the spray glue. It's currently 8:50 a.m. in the morning. The whole day's ahead of me, it's unbelievable. Shops are even open. I just had a shower and did a whole bunch of navel gazing, talking about the philosophy of wearing hair at all and what it would look like to shave my head and just be a baldy. Much easier. It started getting scraggly around the back and sides, so I took it off. Remember, I covered it with glue completely rather than just using tape. It was great to have no bubbles. See those big bubble holes? It's better if you put the tape closer together. See, 3 lines across. If you're going to have a hairpiece that big. This one only had 2 lines across, so it had massive bubbles in it. But I didn't like that the part seam where you would part your hair naturally is where the glue and the hairpiece meet my natural hair, because I don't want it ever to naturally be seen where the split is, where the perimeter is by the general public. And I went through a whole bunch of philosophizing. I thought about maybe, am I really that bald back here completely that it's really worth wearing a full topper all the time? I don't know what's going on there. Is it? Sorry, I'm trying to see in my... It looks like there's a shave spot there that's more shaved than others. I don't know why that would be. I vaguely remember there is a sort of like a visible spot there. On a special occasion, I could potentially use Topic back there. But I just want my head to conform and not have that patoodlement until they come up with stitched hair pieces like that Mirage from La Vivid, the one that I reviewed. One of the best videos I've ever made. But with properly bleached roots. I can't fathom wanting to wear something with that whole bunched up hair, Marge Simpson look. It's terrible. I thought I'd run out of hair pieces, but I found a few more in storage, thankfully. So I'm not completely destitute. If I do go back to wearing front partials, I'll want all the doll's hairlines to run from nose to spine. When they go from ear to ear, it's just ridiculously fake. I don't like that those point. You see the shape of that leaf where my balding pattern ends, and then it just cuts down into a whatever shape CC contour I want here. So if I go back to doing what I used to do and cutting a pre-made stock hairpiece, 1, 2, 3, much cheaper. So it's 1/3 of the price for me. I'm going to get those sideways stitchings and it's just going to look awful. I don't think I'll move back to going to lace again, it's just too messy. So I want to stick with 0.03mm poly basically. I know this balding looks much worse when I'm facing the sun. A lot of light there. But you know, it is still, you know, there's a bald patch forming and that's all thinning. So I'm going to continue to eat this stuff, finasteride. And so the plan is I'll just wear a full, oversized, out of the box topper without any template to fit this, and I'll grow this back for a month or two underneath it. Because as I've demonstrated, you can wear a hairpiece over hair. Just sounds like a rain jacket when you've got these flaps around the edges of plastic because it's not stuck down properly. So here's the plan. 1, wear a full topper over hair while it grows back. 2, eat finasteride. 3, go back to front partials. 4, buy front partials instead of toppers, so doll's hairlines are nose to spine, not ear to ear. So that's my plan now. Might have to time that. So I just had a shower. I went into the room over there with the fan blasting me so I wouldn't be so sweaty. But for some reason, showers make me sweat for at least 2 hours after the shower. It's such an ordeal. I just can't stop sweating. It could be this room. I think because I don't sweat as much as when I'm not in this room. I just don't understand the laws of physics in this room. I know that there are particles of hot water or whatever floating around since the shower. I have been in this room when it's cool, so it probably is that. And somehow, even though I can't see the water vapor, it's all around me. And it's sticking to me like a magnet. I was just going to shove this thing straight onto my head right now, because I've got some things to do down the street. But I am sweating a bit. Don't stack the hairs on top of each other like I do, okay? It was a good idea at the time. It seems fine when the tape is fresh, but once the tape has been on your head and it's deteriorated and now it's all sort of runny, each layer is going to get glue in the hairs. It doesn't get glue in the hairs when it's fresh and new though, which is the only time you'd ever want to really stack them. I still haven't run any experiments to try to remove this with boiling hot water. What I was planning to do today for you is take all my hair pieces with tape all over them, put them in some kind of disposable bucket or something that I don't care if it gets residue all over it, and just put on the kettle and just pour the kettle all over it. I don't think it would be too hot to melt or warp the plastic if I was gentle, but I wouldn't be gentle. I'd be ripping it off with all my might if it's still stuck down. If it lifts off a lot, somehow because of hot water, boiling water, then the problem would be okay, I guess. And then I would just get in there and start wiping away. In the same way you would already wipe away glue from a hairpiece. This is the one I took off. Like I say, I didn't like that the edge of the hairpiece was here, right on the edges, and this bit here, that's 9.5 inches I think, so it extended down to there anyway. That was the worst part of it, and that's where I started getting most annoyed. And then you see all the edges of the hairpiece have glue in it. You can see the hair's sort of bunched together. That's because it's got glue at the base of it, just holding it all in one chunk all the way through the back. So it just became extremely uncomfortable just to feel the edges and stuff. And I was not feeling secure. Like I was not confident walking down the street like that because I was worried that people would see. I know there was gravity has started there, because it's past the edge of the curvature and it's starting to go down there. And it was shorter there, like 1 inch. This is going to be 2 inches because has never been worn. 2.5 at the front, 2 around the sides. Whereas this is, I'm assuming, if that's 2, What do you reckon that length is? It's always difficult to tell the length from the scalp when measuring out. I would say it's like 3/4 of an inch. But that looks like more than double, doesn't it? If let's say, I'm just thinking, like if I had my clippers and I had a 1 inch guard on it, you know, what are these things called again? Comb guide? I reckon this would be about an inch, okay? And I want it to be about that length. And I want it to conform with my head, even if I do have a little bald patch, because it's coverage enough for me now. If I was going to be in a movie or anything like that, and now it sounds like I'm just dreaming because I've been talking about that shit for years and I've hardly been in anything at all, I might use some Topic, just like, you know, sprinkle it in and just use hairspray or something, just disguise it in so it doesn't look like asbestos or something. All right, I'm just going to chuck this on and then style it and do that for another 2 months or so. While I wait for my hair to grow back enough that I can at least put on a front partial and brush back over the shorter hair. Like I think this would take, I don't know, has it been about a month to grow this? Probably longer. So in 2 months maybe I'll be going I don't know. This is my plan, okay? I'm still getting bits of hair out from when it was stacked on top of each other. Say in the comments below, not to me, to everyone else, this is for the general everybody who watches this video, not just today, but forever that it stays on YouTube, right? I hate it when you go to a Reddit page or a Quora page or something. Well, not Quora, I don't think they do it, but you know, certain pages, and they've archived the post. And you've got the solution now, and all these people have been chatting for ages and still haven't found the solution. You know the solution, you want to tell them to share and help them all, but it's gone. They've locked it. It's fucking stupid. Anyway, make sure you write something meaningful that will last the test of time when you comment. And don't just walk, I mean, I do. I just walk away. Not because I'm an asshole, because I'm not emotionally strong. Shyness and snobbery look the same, I found. You can't tell unless they say something that indicates that they're actually indeed thinking snobby thoughts. Like, I'm better than you, something like that, right? But if you look at somebody's facial expressions and body language, shyness looks like the same. It looks the same as snobbery. Oh, I'm soaking wet with sweat. I don't want to edit this, so here we go. I'm just going to quickly do this. On cold. This room is fucking disgustingly saunery. I'm still sweating, but for the sake of me not having to edit, I'm just going to hurry this up. Alright, it's better. I can see the shirt sticking to me. Okay. I'm coming in from behind so I don't get the forehead sticky. Trying to line it up with where I think the front hairline would land. This one's brand new, never been worn. And I'm sticking hair to hair, so it's not ideal, but I'm going to stick to that plan. I'm sorry to abandon you for those of you who were glad that I was wearing a full topper so I could actually show you things that I'm doing that relate to what you're doing. But there are front partial wearers out there who might get something out of it. If anyone's left. This stuff smells amazing. It feels completely insecure at the moment. Hopefully it's drying and there won't be folds and stuff. I'll probably come back to wearing full topper again in the future when that bald spot on the back of my head starts gleaming in every photograph. And it's just too embarrassing. But I just hardly ever leave the house anyway. The front partial is something I can do with a front mirror without having to do this, you know, see the back of my head, all that sort of stuff. Because this contraption is not something I just take and attach to any ceiling. I told you I was thinking about making a backpack that held a camera behind you. I'd have to put it on some kind of swing arm, and then I'd be able to look down at the, oh shit, that's really loose. I don't know how much of that didn't record, I don't know. I just put a new hairpiece on at the end. Did you get the whole plan thing? Anyway, I don't know. That's it. All right, I put a little spacer in there, so now it's not going to hit the ceiling. Okay. So I don't know if you saw all that. For some reason, as the clip kept falling out of this thing, it kept stopping recording and so on. This is a replacement hairpiece. I'm sweating like a pig for no reason. It's not that hot. It is in this room though. It's fucking sauna. After every time I have a shower, it just fucking makes this room so hot and sweaty. That was the plan in case all that video cut out. I guess I'll have to edit this shit now.